Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Wives Union. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates. Unpacking Sister Wives Polygamy, Modern Perspectives. Exploration of the Brown family and the complexities of polygamy in the 21st century. Introduction. Few reality shows have sparked as much cultural conversation and controversy as TLC's Sister Wives. In 2010, the show introduced viewers to Kody Brown and his 4 wives, Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn, along with their numerous children. The Browns presented themselves as a relatable, modern family at a time when mainstream America largely associated plural marriage with fringe communities and secrecy. They shopped at the same grocery stores as everyone else, worried about bills, navigated marital tensions, and faced the universal challenges of raising children. However, their marriage structure complicated their story. Polygamy, specifically polygyny, in which one man has multiple wives, set them apart from conventional families and put them at odds with American law. This article goes far beyond the headlines and episodes. It aims to examine the historical roots of polygamy within Mormonism, analyze the family dynamics of the Browns as portrayed on television, explore modern perspectives on polygamy, legal, ethical, and cultural, offer critical analysis, alternatives, and comparative case studies to situate their story within a wider global and historical framework. By weaving together history, sociology, law, religion, and lived experience, we'll unpack what the Brown story tells us about polygamy in the 21st century. Historical context and religious roots. Mormonism's early relationship with polygamy. The story of polygamy is inseparable from the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, commonly known as the Mormon Church. Joseph Smith, the church's founder, introduced plural marriage in the early 1840s, claiming divine revelation. Early Mormon leaders taught that polygamy was a path to exaltation in the afterlife and a way to raise righteous seed. It quickly became one of the most controversial practices associated with the faith, drawing scorn from broader American society. By 1890, under pressure from the U.S. government, the LDS Church officially renounced polygamy through the manifesto issued by President Wilford Woodruff. However, not all adherents accepted the change. Splinter groups and ongoing practice. While the mainstream LDS Church moved away from plural marriage, many fundamentalist groups continued the practice. Communities in Utah, Arizona, and elsewhere preserved polygamy as a religious mandate, forming sects like the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, FLDS. The Browns are part of this fundamentalist tradition, though they reject the abuses often associated with sect leaders like Warren Jeffs. For them, polygamy is framed as a matter of personal religious freedom, not institutional control. See the Doctrine and Covenants and Scriptural Basis. Polygamy's scriptural basis lies primarily in Doctrine and Covenants section 132, which details eternal marriage and justifies plural marriage under divine authority. The Browns often reference this text to explain their convictions, positioning their lifestyle as rooted in faith rather than rebellion. Cultural and social influences. Beyond theology, cultural influences also shape their choices. Family tradition. Many fundamentalist families pass down polygamy as part of their identity. Community expectations. Belonging to a religious network where plural marriage is the norm can create both encouragement and pressure. Personal conviction. The Browns often stated that their faith, not compulsion, led them to embrace polygamy. The role of leadership. Leadership within polygamous communities often wields immense power. While the Browns distanced themselves from authoritarian sects, the question of power dynamics remained central to their family life, particularly in how Kody led the household. The Brown family dynamics. Kody Brown's role as a plural husband. Kody Brown presented himself as a charismatic, energetic, and sometimes domineering figure. He saw his role as provider, striving to balance financial responsibilities for 4 households. Spiritual leader, framing polygamy as a divine calling. Emotional manager, attempting, often unsuccessfully, to balance the needs of multiple wives. His leadership was frequently tested, especially as the wives' desires for independence grew. The wives' experiences and perspectives. Each wife brought unique perspectives. Meri, the first wife, legally married to Kody until 2014, later spiritually married, often struggled with jealousy and isolation. Her limited fertility and eventual marital distance created unique challenges. Janelle, practical and career-driven, Janelle balanced independence with loyalty to the family structure. She often focused on financial stability. Christine, warm and maternal, Christine was central to child-rearing but later voiced dissatisfaction with feeling neglected, ultimately leaving Kody in 2021. Robyn, the last wife, legally married to Kody after he divorced Meri, became a flashpoint for jealousy. Many viewers perceived her as the favorite, intensifying family tensions. See the children's experiences. The Brown children grew up in a highly unusual environment, one mother legally recognized, others spiritually connected, and constant scrutiny from peers and media. Reactions varied, some expressed support for polygamy, while others distanced themselves, choosing monogamy. Their voices remind us that the ripple effects of polygamy extend beyond the husband-wife relationships. D. The impact of societal scrutiny. The Browns' decision to go public with sister wives exposed them to intense scrutiny. Legal risks. At the time, polygamy was criminalized in Utah. The family even fled to Nevada in 2011 to avoid prosecution. Media narratives. Tabloids painted them as either pioneers or frauds. Emotional toll. The constant judgment weighed on both the adults and children. 3. Polygamy in the 21st century. A. Legal and societal implications. In the U.S., polygamy remains illegal in all 50 states. Penalties vary, but bigamy laws prevent legal recognition of multiple marriages. 2013 Brown v. Booman case, the Browns sued Utah officials over polygamy laws. A judge initially struck down parts of the law, but later rulings reversed the decision. Decriminalization efforts. In 2020, Utah reduced penalties for polygamy from a felony to an infraction, signaling evolving attitudes. B. The modern interpretations of polygamy. Unlike 19th-century Mormon polygamy, modern plural families often emphasize choice and equality rather than religious compulsion. The Browns attempted to exemplify this approach, but critics contended that gender inequality still existed. See freedom of religion versus societal expectations. The Browns positioned their lifestyle as a religious liberty issue. However, mainstream society viewed it through the lens of law, gender roles, and child welfare. This tension, personal freedom versus societal norms, remains unresolved. D. Equality and gender issues. Polygamy raises sharp gender questions. Does polygyny inherently privilege men? Can women in such arrangements truly exercise free choice? What happens when emotional and sexual exclusivity is denied? While the Browns portrayed their wives as autonomous, cracks in the relationships suggested deeper imbalances. 4. Critical analysis and ethical considerations. A. Potential for abuse and exploitation. History shows that polygamous communities can breed abuse, child marriage, coercion, and authoritarian control. While the Browns avoided these extremes, the potential is undeniable. B. Consent and agency. A key ethical question: can consent be fully free when shaped by religious doctrine and community expectations? Critics argue that even voluntary polygamy can carry subtle coercion. C. Individual rights versus harm. Balancing rights means acknowledging both sides. The Browns have the right to live according to their faith. It is the responsibility of society to prevent harm, particularly to women and children. D. Role of education and awareness. Breaking cycles of exploitation requires education, legal resources, and outreach. For polygamous families like the Browns, media exposure served as both awareness and spectacle. V. Alternatives and perspectives. A. Empathy and understanding. It's easy to caricature polygamists. However, empathy requires seeing them as individuals with genuine convictions, not just symbols of controversy. B. Supporting family members. Whatever one thinks of polygamy, the priority must be the well-being of spouses and children. C. Advocating for positive change. Polygamous families benefit from reforms that reduce stigma, provide legal protections, and ensure resources for women and children who want to leave. D. Role of support systems. Counseling, education, and financial independence are crucial supports for those navigating life inside or outside polygamy. 6. Case studies and comparative analyses. A. Historical polygamous groups. Islamic polygamy, practiced in many Muslim-majority societies, with limits, maximum of 4 wives. African contexts. In parts of West and East Africa, polygamy remains culturally common, often linked to economic or social structures. Biblical precedents include figures such as Abraham, Jacob, and Solomon, who had multiple wives. However, later Christian traditions abandoned this practice. B. Comparing the Browns to FLDS. Unlike the authoritarian FLDS under Warren Jeffs, the Browns portrayed themselves as egalitarian. Yet critics argued that patriarchy persisted under a softer guise. C. Sociological and anthropological perspectives. Anthropologists note that polygamy often emerges in societies with gender imbalances, economic inequality, or cultural religious mandates. The Browns, living in suburban America, represent a unique case of transplanting an old practice into modern society. 7. Conclusion. The Brown family story is more than reality television drama. It is a lens through which we can explore. The story discusses the historical foundations of Mormon polygamy. We can also participate in the legal, social, and ethical discussions that surround plural marriage. Individuals grapple with the personal dynamics of reconciling their faith, freedom, and modernity. In the 21st century, polygamy continues to be a contentious issue, simultaneously asserting religious freedom, challenging gender equality, and posing risks of exploitation. The Browns humanized polygamy for millions of viewers, complicating stereotypes and sparking dialogue. Nevertheless, their struggles also revealed the deep tensions inherent in plural marriage. Unpacking their journey ultimately reminds us that love, power, faith, and the search for meaning always shape family, regardless of its structure. And in that search, polygamy, like monogamy, poses challenging questions about what it means to share lives, loves, and loyalties. You are welcome to share any video requests in the comments. I will make a video about it. Stay connected with the Wives Union for all the latest updates, spoilers, and deep dive recaps. See you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. May God keep you safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell button for daily updates.